Okay, this is part 3 of my Purpose Journey series. So, this is the final part. This is the happy ending part. This is the story of the transformation and the triumph, how I got over. So, I hope y'all ready to shout because this is where I get excited. Okay, so after about 2 months and $7,000 worth of damage, I finally got my car back. So, I got my car back right in the beginning of 2018. And that's when things started to come up. I started asking myself these questions like, okay, God, why did this car accident have to happen to me? Another accident. Why is this happening? Like, what does all this mean? What's the purpose of this, God? And did I do something wrong? Like, was I not following your will? And he slowly revealed this to me over those couple of months. And it really came to life in March of 2018 when I went to the Zion Women's Retreat. But what happened for me was that I actually I made a decision to change my life. Right around my birthday time, my 29th birthday, I decided to change my life. And how did I do that? My slides are a little slow. I decided to do things that I enjoy again. So before both car accidents, I was really big into running. As a matter of fact, I was training for a race. So I said, you know what, let me start working out again. I'll start slow with some yoga, low impact activities. I'll, ease back into the gym. I spent more time with my family because those are things that give me life. Seeing my little nieces running around, it just brings me joy. I started to encourage myself with words. So I have this sticky note that goes on my wall and it says, I am loved, I belong, I am worthy, I am enough, and I am appreciated. So even when I don't really feel like it, I started to say those things to myself and I started to feel like it. I started to change the music I was listening to as well. So instead of listening to like the pop stuff or top 40, I instead listened only to Christian music and gospel music. And those words really encouraged me and kept me uplifted throughout my day. I started hanging out more with my dog because I kind of left her to the side for a minute and didn't want to spend time with her. Saw her more as an obligation than anything. But and all this to say, I was doing things that I actually enjoy, and that's partially what got me over this whole thought process. I also found things to keep me centered and focused back on God and back on that mission. So every week I would do a bath night. My Thursdays were my bath night, so I would always have candles out there, listening to like some calm music, usually piano or something acoustic, guitar like, and just trying to chill. Like I had that self-care time to pour back into me and hear from God. I would be writing my prayers actually. I wrote my prayers. Try to do it every day, but sometimes it don't happen like that. I wrote those down and I put them all into a journal. So I was journaling again, something that definitely brought me joy as a kid. I was continuing to do that now as an adult, and it really helped me to show my emotions and things I was thinking about. Putting it on paper helped to make things more clear for me. What else? As a part of the journaling, I also started doing gratitude writing. So at the end of every day, I'd write down at least one thing I was grateful for. This really helped me out when I was in that series of depression, that season of depression rather. So out of all the things that went wrong for a certain day, I'm like, there's got to be something that's good about this. So if I was upset about, my arm was hurting as a result of physical therapy, I say, you know what, thank God that I have a physical therapist so my arm can actually heal in the right way. Small things like that. Thank God I have transportation to get over to the therapist's office. Like, thank God for that. So just finding those little things and finding the joy in the everyday was really important. And also what kept me centered was saying no more often. By saying no, I created white space on my calendar, which helped me to make decisions about things that were important to me and my family, not just doing what everybody else wanted me to do. So those are the things that really helped. But the major one of all was getting plugged into Christian community again. That was a really important piece of it. So I mentioned earlier about the Zion Women's Retreat, and that happened in March of 2018. So right as I was starting to come out of that depressing kind of season, I got back in contact with a lot of my girlfriends who had come to the retreat, some who had even come to the original pilot sessions, people I hadn't talked to in months. And I got reconnected with them, and they helped to remind me of my purpose. They helped remind me of who God is, so that I don't have to be thinking these negative thoughts and feeling like this bad person all the time. Even though I was still feeling the pain, I knew the pain had a purpose. And that was a really major portion of what those women taught me in March of that year. So I said, you know what, ladies, thank you for reminding me of this and what it is that God has called me to do. God has given me too many gifts to sit here and not use them for His glory. He already searched my heart. He already broke me. Now it's time to be used. And so that's what I started to do. Shortly after the retreat was over, the women's retreat in March, I started my business after that. And I called it Path to Purpose, like I have on my shirt. Path to Purpose LLC, and I'm a life coach now. Like, that's what I do. So y'all can see like how important this was for me, right? Like, I spent all this time just living an unpurposeful life, living for myself basically, just to make my name great, so people could tell me how good I was. But what God really wants from me and from all of us is to make His name great. And sometimes that means you got to wade through the fears and the lies and the things that you tell yourself. You got to fight through the stuff that the enemy tries to give you, and really know the Word of God so you can fight back effectively. And then knowing your purpose. Knowing my purpose helped me get through this entire situation. And it's helped me to reconnect with the God that I serve. So in conclusion, I'll just tell you a little bit more about Path to Purpose and what we do now, what I do now, I guess, as a result of that. So I started off by doing one-on-one, I guess, coaching and consulting, and that became a lot to do, especially with a full-time job. And so I started to do more group activities, more things like in-person workshops and a group coaching kind of stuff. And that was great, but they were all kind of one-off activities. They weren't really a continuous type of thing. So I actually built a Facebook community where we can gather together online, on demand, at any time, and really get together as women so we can continue our purpose journey together. So what I'm doing, I'm actually still operating the Facebook group now, but the next thing I'm planning to do is have more online resources so that anybody, anywhere, anytime can get their purpose right, and then start walking with God so that they are doing what they are called to do in the way that God has called them. So that's what I'm working on now. It's kind of been a journey. It's kind of been a struggle, but I know God is faithful, and I know that He has called me to do this and to do it for a reason. So that is my story. That's what I do. It's not about me. It's really not. But I heard God telling me to tell the story and tell the whole story. So I hope this gives you more insight into who I am, into who God is. And if you have questions, seriously, do not hesitate to reach out. I read all the comments. I respond to all the comments. So let me know if you have questions about your Christian journey, about your purpose journey, or if you're like, man, I really want to get started, but I just don't know where or how. I want to be used by God, but I don't know how. Hit me up in the comments or send me a message on Facebook. I'd love to connect with you further. All right, so that's my story. I'm all done, at least for now. I don't know what God's going to write next as the next chapter starts, but I'm ready for it. Whatever He has in store for me, I'm here. All right, y'all. I'm out. Coach Bianca, out. See y'all.